Star Wars Rebels Episode 9, Idiot's Array. Definitely loved this episode. We got to meet Lando Calrissian, and he was even crazier than he is in The Empire Strikes Back. Like, he's more of a smuggler now than what we really got to see in The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. I guess not really considering how bad some of the stuff was in Empire Strikes Back, but, just left and right, he's scamming people. It's like, he gives Hera up to the guy. It's a part of the plan, but still, it's just like, here's this person, and he didn't pay him at the end, and, he knew that they stole the fuel, so that's why he didn't pay him, but it was just really cool. Like, I loved his character in this episode. He was really just, like, his whole appearance and personality just felt like a con. Like, the entire thing seemed like he was just lying to do whatever he wanted to do, and he kind of was, but at the same time, knowing who this character is, he is really a good guy. Like, he doesn't try to hurt people or put people in harm's way or anything like that, but he is a smuggler. He will trick you. He will do what he has to do to ultimately get what he needs. He won't just do the worst things ever to you, but he'll lie, he'll con, he'll be like a smooth talker, and then move on to the next target and kind of do his thing. So I enjoyed getting him in this episode. Of course, Lando being played by Billy D is always the best because it's Billy D. Williams. So if anyone else did it, it would just seem weird. So I love the fact that it was Billy D. He always seems to do Lando, like, no matter what random show it is, Billy D will always be there to play Lando Calrissian, because it's like, that's like one of the big things for him, and people always love seeing him do that role, and he does it, and it seems like he has fun doing it. And in this, it was really cool to just get like a young Lando just being silly, kind of doing his thing. So I really enjoyed that. We got to see Ezra use his lightsaber for like a split second, and he used it in a really cool way. He actually made it, and we got to see why he had like the sort of weird hilt on it, and it was because he made like a little pistol out of it, so it basically replaces his little slingshot, and it's blue instead of yellow as well. That was something I noticed, and that was really cool. I love that. It was like, he Kanan thought he was going to use the lightsaber, and he just shoots a little paralyzing blast, and that was really sweet to me. It was like, I didn't think he made it into a gun plus a lightsaber, and I'd love to see him do both. Like, if he could have the lightsaber on and it shoots, that would be amazing to see, because that's something we've never seen. I've never once seen a lightsaber actually shoot anything off. So that was really cool. Like, it was very interesting to see. I have to assume it's blue because the crystal for the lightsaber is blue, so that's why it comes out that way instead of it being yellow, like the little energy thing that he was using before. But it was definitely cool to see that. Like, it was like a tiny little moment, but I thought that was such a cool thing. I kind of had to talk about it because, like I said, I've never seen that. It could be somewhere in the extended universe of Star Wars, like in comics and stuff like that, but I've never seen it personally, so I thought it was really, really cool. It was a nice little surprise. Like, he has his own little blaster, but it's also a lightsaber, and no one would really know that, so that was really cool. It was great to get a lot out of Hera in this episode. We got to see a lot of her sort of code of conduct as, a part of the Rebels. It's like, we made this deal with you, we'll go along and we'll kind of do what we said we'll do. So even though all this stuff was really crappy, they kind of lost Chopper, sort of temporarily, and then Hera is kind of given up as a slave. It's like, hey, this is what we said we were gonna do. This is what we're gonna do, and of course she's capable of taking care of herself. But it was just really interesting to see. Like, by the end, no one really liked Lando, but she kind of stuck by him. Like, all right, we made a deal. As tempting as it is to just let Lando go and then we all just take off, we can't really do that because we kind of had, we have a code of conduct. We have honor towards this guy far before we met you. So I love that. I thought it was cool to see her side of things and just get her aspect on. Even if a person's kind of conning them the entire way through, she'll still stick with that person because she sticks to her word, or the word of her crew, because Kanan was the one who really set up that deal, and it's like, well, if he set up a deal and he feels comfortable with it, then that's what I'm going with. And then she will, even if Kanan, by the end, which he was definitely switching, like, go ahead, take him, even if the other members of the team do switch, she will stick by what they initially said. So I thought that was really cool of her character. I probably wouldn't have done the same thing, to be honest, if Lando was just causing issue after issue when he could have made it so much simpler instead of being like the smooth talker and stuff. But it was cool to see her do it that way, and it was really interesting. I like the fight scene at the end. Outside of Ezra showing off the fact that it's a blaster plus a lightsaber as well, the whole thing was cool. I had no idea what the heck Chopper was doing at the end of the episode. I'm like, what is he doing? At first, I thought he was pushing it towards the enemies and trying to be sneaky about it so that, he could go away and be like, hey, and point over to it and they'll blow it up. And he was just pushing it on the ship and stuff, and it was really funny. I love, like, that whole thing, him just, like, slamming into it and trying to push it up the ramp and stuff. I thought that was a really funny scene, so I enjoyed that as well. But it was definitely a great episode. It was a good comedy episode. It was nice to see a character that we know from the franchise, in sort of his early years before even A New Hope. So it was definitely nice to see that. The action was good. The comedy was definitely good. It was just really silly. The little pig thing was basically like I can't remember the name of those pigs, like truffle pigs or whatever they call them. It was one of those, and it was just really funny, and like that thing was just running all over the place when it was on the ship, and it was incredibly fast. Like the animation on it when it was going up the ladder was insanely fast. Like it flew up that ladder basically, and then Ezra was following it, and he just looked like he was in slow motion. So I enjoyed that. Them just messing with it, and then it inflates and stuff, and then it inflates even more because Ezra kind of got jealous of Lando talking to Sabine and stuff. I thought that was pretty funny too, and he's like, yeah, I told you your art was cool, months ago and stuff like that. I really enjoyed those scenes as well because he has a big crush on her, and it's like she always kind of sees him as just like this young kid who doesn't really know anything, and Lando just flat out said like he's just a kid who has like no experience of the galaxy. That was really harsh, but that's just kind of his thing. Like he just says what he says, and most of the time it probably won't appeal to the people around him. But I love this episode. Excited to see what other characters we might get in future episodes. There aren't too many they could really bring in when you think about it that could just come in and then leave out. They could of course bring in Han and Chewie, but like they couldn't really bring in Luke. I guess technically they could if they wanted to, but he just wouldn't really be doing anything. He'd be like a normal person. And they could also technically bring in Leia, but I kind of doubt they'll do that. But this was a great episode. A nice sort of filler episode, I guess. But really, I don't know what the main story of the season is supposed to be anyway. It's really just the team itself. So every episode, whether it has a big theme to it or not, it's really developing all the characters in some small way, so none of it really is filler, so that also adds to it. And seeing, like the stuff with Hera and how she stuck with the initial deal they had with Lando, despite the fact that he did all this admittedly kind of stupid stuff, where it could have been real easy if he just said, this is what I want, this is what's happening. Like him smuggling stuff like a week before the episode, it's like you could have mentioned that a long time ago. Probably would have helped us out to get past these people and stuff like that. But still a great episode. Excited for next week's episode. Of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this one, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. Of course, the big question is, what do you guys think of Lando Calrissian in this episode? It was I think our second really big appearance. I think the first, and technically he wasn't even in the show, or like the first two when they weren't in it, was Obi-Wan and Yoda, and they Yoda really had even more to do with the episode than Obi-Wan did because he was technically just a hologram. But what do you guys think of Lando in this episode? Like his personality and what we get to see him do, even his appearance maybe and stuff like that. I want to know what you guys thought, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.